Muppet, your local hero Muppet, once again with another Ultimate Fighter episode review. This is for Season 30, Episode 5, titled Face the Boogeyman, and we do have quite a bit to go through, so I say we go through all the bits that we can. So we start with the loss of the last episode, that being Catherine Paprocki from Team Nunes losing to Lauren Gallo from Team Pena, and Catherine is talking to... she talks to Laura, actually, and says that she has nothing but respect for her. Then when she's talking to, I think it's Caitlin, when she's back in their bedroom, which they sort of share, she's telling Caitlin how she didn't like that the game plan didn't really go her way. And a bit later on in the episode, we have her actually sitting down with Nunes and one of Nunes' assistant coaches, saying that she didn't think that she played to her strengths, and she says that she thought that they played specifically to Laura's strengths. And Nunes acknowledged that and apologised and said, if the opportunity comes around, basically, we'll get a different game plan for you. And Catherine was actually very happy with that and said, okay, this is good. The fact that, like, Nunes, even already, despite being a good coach, a very positive coach, is willing to learn after one of her fighters just lost. I really like that, and it's something I wanted to bring up really quick. But not the only small thing I wanted to bring up really quick, as during a Nunes training session, Chandler Cole and Niall Bottling, who are two of Team Nunes' heavyweights, Niall lost in the first episode, they're having a jiu-jitsu exchange, and a botch happens where Niall accidentally has his legs around around Chandler's right elbow and does a little twist. I was just checking for DMs on my Discord there for some reason, even though I don't have any. But yeah, he did a little twist, and it twisted Chandler's elbow. So later on in the episode, obviously, he goes to get checked out by the doctor. The doctor says he can still fight as long as he doesn't move his elbow in too many sideways ways. But besides that, he'll be mostly alright. And Chandler says... he gives Chandler the option of if he wants to leave or not. And Chandler thinks he's well enough to fight. And luckily he's not fighting right now. So hopefully he will have time to recover by the time his fight gets announced. Which should be... not the next episode, but the episode after, because that'll be the last heavyweight fight if I'm doing the maths in my head correctly. But yeah, I really liked how that was handled, and really good on Chandler to keep sticking to his guns. After that, we do have a good conversation in the TUF house, where Bobby has a good natter with Muhammad, and Muhammad knows that people are betting against Bobby, and Bobby said, put plus 1100 on me, and you'll make some money. And that made me laugh, and I was just thinking... can we just get more of this? Can we just get more really friendly interactions between not just teammates on the same team, but from, like, across different teams? And it's a question I'll answer a little bit later on when I cover something significant that does happen. But we'll get to that when we get to it. We then get to the video packages and backgrounds, and we find out that Eduardo is Mexican, and he emigrated to the United States at the age of 2 with the rest of his family. And him and his family all love each other very, very much. You just like to see it. It's very heartwarming stuff. And he has a girlfriend. They quite like each other too, obviously. Very heartwarming stuff. And then I found out, right as they showed in the episode, that Eduardo trains at American Kickboxing Academy. So just from that alone, it doesn't seem like it's going to go too well for old Bobby Max, because American Kickboxing Academy is one of the best MMA gyms ever, like in MMA gym history. So, yeah, not looking great. But we then actually have to talk about Bobby, who as he tells... and by the way, I want to talk about the framing of this as well, because usually when it comes to the background stuff, they usually do, like, the whole interview thing where there's, like, a black, like, sheet or screen behind them, and they're looking directly into the camera, and you can see, like, the lights from the... well, camera lights in their eyes, like the circular rings, like reflected in their irises and such. And they didn't do that for Bobby. In fact, it all starts when Bobby's having a conversation with Brogan from Team Nunes, because Bobby's on Team Pena. And it's intercut with his old fights, like his first ever fight in the Ultimate Fighter, which he lost because he blew out his shoulder. Then he got a contract in the UFC anyway, and it's cut with him, like, explaining what happened to Brogan. And it is so wonderfully edited. Much like the friendly conversation that Bobby had with Mo earlier in the episode, I wish that the UFC editing team did more of this, you know? And I don't think that they get enough credit when they do unique shit like this. Because, I mean, yeah, they're not WWE levels of awesome video packaging, but goddamn, this was put together so well. And obviously we get Bobby's background as well. Like, around 2009, which was his last actual fight, and he had his first son then with his wife, and he's had 2 more sons since then also with his wife, and he's mostly just shown being a great dad as well as owning his own gym. So yeah, the dude has quite the story. We also find out during a backstage interview thing after that as well that he lost his dad at the age of 20. So by lost I mean his dad passed away at the age when Bobby was 20. So I think I should clarify that. It is pretty harsh, and Bobby has been through some shit. We then get to the training for them, and it is pretty simple. For Bobby, stick to your wrestling, your grappling. For Eduardo, stick to your striking. We see Bobby working quite well on his grappling and stuff, working well in his submissions, which is something he's always been good at. It's very much been his bread and butter. For Eduardo, he's working a lot on his head movement, and we find out he's a lot quicker than a dude his size. He's 6'5", and weighs 266 pounds, and he moves like lightning. Well, not exactly like lightning, but he moves really well for someone that big. And he's got really great cardio too. Like, the dude's barely breaking much of a sweat by the time he's finished with his training session. So yeah, I mean, he even says he looks up to Cain Velasquez, and I think he looks up to Cain Velasquez's legendary cardio as well, because Velasquez could fucking go in his day, and hopefully Eduardo is going down that same route, you know, having that same cardio, and we see really great glimpses of it during his training session. We do have the fight to go through next, but I do want to talk about something really briefly. So Bobby has psychology meetings with Brogan, who I mentioned earlier, and Claire, both from Team Nunes, and he's actually quite a good sports psychologist. He's teaching them some really helpful and handy things, giving them great advice. And there's one great thing he says, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, no, I do. He says that, like, a diary is the place where you can write the most dishonest stuff. No one should believe a diary. And that made me think, wow, I used to actually, like, sort of have a notebook / diary thing way back in secondary school. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, like, I never really wrote in that except for maybe once or twice. And even hearing that, even though I never really wrote in it that much, I was like, fucking hell, that's actually a really good point. So Bobby, very smart man, very charismatic, it turns out. And yeah, like, Claire going, whoa, at hearing that, I was just like, yeah, agreed, Claire, that's actually really solid advice. However, all the psychology in the world does not best please a fellow Team Pena teammate, which is Juliana Miller. So she, in a backstage interview, is not happy with the fact that Bobby is sitting down with 2 girls from the opposite team and giving them advice and helping them psychologically, because she sees it as a betrayal, because apparently in her life she's been screwed over. And we'll find out how screwed over she gets in the next episode, because she's going to be fighting in the next episode. Spoiler alert, against Claire from Team Nunes, just to round that out for you. Just thought I'd get it out of the way now. But yeah, Juliana Miller is not happy with Bobby, and there's even a moment where they're riding to the gym to do their training session, or a training session, and Juliana lets Bobby know that she's not happy with him, and she feels betrayed by him. And my reaction is the same as Bobby's, which is like, you know, he's not actually a spy for the red team. He's not giving them advice on how to beat you. He's not telling them what your weaknesses are. Hell, Bobby even admits in a backstage interview, he doesn't even know what their weaknesses are, you know, because he's never worked with these people before. And it makes Juliana's argument against him seem, I don't know, like, it just doesn't really seem like it holds water. But then again, we'll find out if it does by the next episode. But yeah, Bobby says something in the backstage interview as well about Juliana, about that bullshit, which is grow the fuck up. And I'm just like, yeah, pretty much, Juliana. Just, you know, get the hell over it. He's giving them psychological mental advice, because the mental game is as important as the physical game. He's not telling these 2 girls how you fight. And it's doubly handy, because one of the girls that he told is the one that Juliana's going to be fighting in the next episode. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up really quick. I don't think Juliana has much of a leg to stand on, but again, we will find out by the time that next episode, next week, rolls around. We then actually have to get to the fight. So, obviously, both fighters make weight, and at the weigh-ins, Bobby is about 30 pounds lighter than Eduardo. We find out from the stats that he's a couple of inches shorter. He's still taller than, well, roughly taller than me, 6'3", I'm about 6'2"-ish. And Eduardo is 6'5". And Eduardo's got a 3-inch long, his reach is 3 inches longer than, not just a 3-inch reach, it's just little T-Rex arms, no. He's got, his reach is 3 inches longer than Bobby's. Although I'd love to see a fighter just eh, that's all I want to see now. I've tickled myself. I should actually talk about the fight, which is sadly, notice how my mood changed. Sadly, a case of the young lion murdering the old dog. Bobby starts well. You know, he gets a good takedown on Eduardo, and Eduardo manages to get back up. There's some really good clinch stuff. And eventually Bobby manages to get another takedown. He even almost gets a neck crank style submission, but Eduardo is able to keep his cool. He manages to get back up. And as Bobby goes for another clinch, Eduardo counters and lands a really good knee, lands some really good punches, and he manages to finally create some distance and use his reach, which he's really good at using. But Bobby's wrestling can only get him so far. He manages to... Eduardo manages to use his reach quite well and counter with some really good strikes, counter with some good knees. There's a point where Bobby tries the old overhand right takedown combo, which didn't work for Niall in episode 1, doesn't work for Bobby here, and Eduardo catches Bobby with a good hand coming in, and eventually manages to sort of take Bobby's back, land some good ground pound from the back mount. Bobby rolls to his back, onto his back, Bobby rolls onto his own back, and Eduardo mounts him, lands some elbows, lands a lot of punches, and the referee stops the fight with about a minute left. Is a case of the young lion, again, just murdering the old dog, and nothing against Bobby, but it was a good second chance, and Dana White himself says that he likes a good redemption story, but yeah, it just wasn't the day for Bobby, it just wasn't the time. However, I was very impressed with Eduardo's performance. Like, his cardio was great, his speed was deceptively good, and he moved really well for a man his size. And getting a really easy-looking win, too, as someone just entering his prime as well. That was really good shit from Eduardo, and I do feel bad that Bobby lost, but that's sort of the hand you dealt. And I don't have much to say about the next fight because I already spoiled it earlier, but I am interested as to why Pena picked the next fight, because her fighter just lost. It should be Amanda Nunes who picks the... I just don't like how they're doing this. Just let the winner of the last fight pick the next fight. Keep the advantage in their court if possible. It doesn't make it interesting if you just swing it back and forth randomly. Just give it to the person who's won. Simple. Keep it simple. Anyway, next thing I'll see you for will probably be an episode of Music of the Week tomorrow. However, I will not be seeing you for a stream on Friday because I still have a lot of grinding to do if I want to get those extra couple of weapons onto Overdrive, but I'll try and push that back to next Friday, because I don't want to do anything more than I need to over the weekend. Also, thank you to everyone who watched the PPW vs. AVW stream last night. It was kind of great. Yeah, that's about it. See you all tomorrow. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.